better. I think it's
What
weak.
what was that subclass we were talking about not too long ago where they got etherealness and I wasn't impressed with it and I was supposed
The undead warlock.
right. Yeah. Like I don't know why, but I feel better about it here.
I think it's this one you get to take your body and stuff with you, and before you had it be a floating naked specter. So there is a pretty much difference between those two things.
Okay. Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today is another Martial Monday, in which we will be discussing the Ranger Conclave, the Horizon Walker.
One who walks with horizons. This is like, to me, designed for the plane chase escape books. That's the ones, right?
So.
And it like has features that work
Yes.
alongside them, but also features that work on every table. They're just a little bit like underwhelming sometimes. They're neat enough, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one.
We'll talk about it.
Yes, I'm a little bit soured on our first feature, but yeah, we'll get there.
Don't worry, that feature is like all ribbon. So we start
Yeah.
with actual first features, Horizon Walker Magic. These are important because these are just free spells you get as a ranger that you don't have to prepare, you don't have to learn them. You're just these are yours forever. At third level, you get protection from good and evil. Sure. Sorry, evil and good. I always say that backwards.
I do too.
I love that spell. It's great. It gives you good boons against regular creatures you're facing. Fifth level, you get Misty Step. Hot. I love Misty Step on Rangers. You get to use that in a whole bunch of cool ways. Like it, right?
Yeah.
You get Hasty 9th level, which is really cute, and High Risk, High Reward. I conceptually love casting on yourself, but it is incredibly dangerous to do so. 13th level, you get Banishment. This is kind of a banger list spot. This is good stuff. Banishment's sweet on Ranger. It gives you a real tool to engage with big scary monsters in the upper tiers. I'm in. And then 17th level, you get Teleportation Circle, with who gives a shit? It's 17th level. But, you know, sure, Teleportation Circle, why not?
Yeah, I like teleportation circle conceptually, but
It makes
more
sense
as a
flavor type.
world building kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like there being teleportation circles that can get you from A to B, but I don't want to have to be the one casting them.
I do think it's something deeply funny about, like, you come across this planar traveler who journeys across time and space, and they meet a 9th level wizard that just finished graduating from, like, what's functionally their bachelor's degree, and they're like, oh, you just learned how to do that? And you're like, yes, I've traveled for thousands of aeons to learn how to use these circles of teleportation. He goes, we learned that in geometry class. Kind of how it feels to me.
This is how I feel when I'm helping my daughter with her homework.
Excellent.
Yes.
Third level also goes to Detect Portal. This is the fluff feature. So third level, you get the ability to magically sense the presence of a planar portal. As an action, you detect the distance and direction to the closest planar portal within a mile of you. Once you use the feature, you can again use a short or long rest for some reason. So if you whiff, tough. See the planar travel section of Chapter 2 of the DMG, for example, of planar portals. We're not going to do that because most games don't care.
No.
The games that do care,
Why?
you can touch on it. It'll be fun.
Why is this a feature? I mean, all right.
Because there's a
Yes, go ahead.
Because this is a ribbon. The job of this feature isn't to be powerful. The job of this feature is to give you a tool that interfaces with planar portals. So at tables that are focusing on them, it can shine there and have a little bit of extra utility tool. But you also get Horizon Walker Magic and the next feature to sort of give you meat that empowers your character mechanically.
All right.
That reasonable?
All right. The next feature is still third level, so all right.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I mean, how often are portals coming up, and when they are, you know, your DM wants you to find them.
Generally speaking, yes. If you are playing in a high portal setting, this might still not have text because I detect the nearest portal, not the portal we care about, within a mile of me, right? So there is a genuine challenge with getting this feature to do anything, but I still think flavorfully it makes sense to be like, Horizon Walkers can detect portals. It doesn't need to be more than that as long as they get something else. And they do get something else. They get Planar Warrior.
Something else. Okay.
So also at third level, we get Planar Warrior. At third level, you learn how to draw energy of the multiverse to augment your attacks. As a bonus action, choose a creature you can see within 30 feet. The next time you hit it on a turn within a weapon attack, all damage dealt by the attack becomes force damage and takes a bonus d8 4 damage from the attack. When you reach 11th level, it deals a bonus 2d8 damage instead. So you can do bonus d8 damage or bonus action, basically. And it changes all damage to force. So you get around basically every resistance in the game. Neat.
All right, now this is just for a single attack per turn.
Yes, and you have unlimited uses of this at least.
Yeah, that's good.
It does have the real issue where it sure does cost your bonus action, and that does definitely compete with both Favored Foe and Hunter's Mark, which is like, I really wanted to like set up more of these. That being said, this kind of does paint you as a single target slayer, where you put your Favored Foe on something in the round start. You go and make 2 attacks against it. Then the next round, you make 2 attacks against it, but this time one of them gets the bonus D8 force damage because you also use Planar Warrior. And you can kind of like slowly add up these D8s as time goes on. It'll be really, really just fine. It does definitely paint you as a melee range character because 30 feet is pretty short. You don't want to necessarily be cutting around with a 120-foot longbow and not being able to get this feature, but
Well, I
them's
was
the breaks.
thinking more, crossbow expert ranger than.
They often want to be in this range anyway, but yeah, that is the bonus
But
action
I'm
problem.
talking the bonus action. Yes.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I am fine with literally any reason to not use that feat. So
Why? I love it.
it's a predetermined, really good build where you just go sharpshooter and crossbow expert, and we're done. I don't really care what my class is as long as I get extra attack.
All right. Yeah, that's about how I feel. But
Yeah,
I'm positive for that.
sure, that's fine. If you want a simple, powerful build, that is a simple, powerful build. I like
I'm a
that this
simple,
is a
powerful man.
different attempt to do something. It's definitely worse than that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Like, this is definitively worse than crossbow for sharpshooter stuff, don't worry. But it is at least some payoff for doing something different. I think my ultimate feeling about this, though, is that, like, for Detective Portal being all fluff, this is no fluff. This is just a bonus D8 damage, and now you do Force for some reason, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
see it being that interesting. I'd love for it to be a bonus action, like, you hit something, you mark something, and the next time you hit it, you teleport to it or something. Like, there
Yeah.
could have been cooler mechanics here while also giving the bonus damage, but instead it's just, nope, just bonus damage in a non-feature. I mean, it's something, and something's better than a lot of other subclasses get, so I guess I'll take it.
Yes, it is.
7th level, we get Ethereal Step. 7th level, you learn to step through the Ethereal Plane. As a bonus action, you can cast the Ethereal spell with this feature without expending a spell slot, but the spell ends at the end of your current turn. Once you use this feature, you can't get until you finish a short or long rest. I wish you got more uses of this. It's cool.
I mean, I don't know. 7th level etherealness is pretty good. I mean, what level spell is that?
It's a 7th level spell, but the reason it's good is it lasts freaking 8 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one round is really different than 8 hours, but it does give you a cool mechanic where you can like phase through walls and stuff. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. Once per short rest, though, is like, it's going to give you that problem where I don't know when I want to use this. Like, you really were going to be picky with the situations where you opt to do it. So
I don't know. I think a lot of the times you're going to know exactly when you want to use it. I need to get through that freaking wall.
Sure. But then you can't get back, which is really funny, actually, right? I
Oh,
love.
You got to hide in a closet for an hour.
I think this will add some interesting decision making. As the only 7th level feature, getting able to basically ignore all objects and effects that aren't on the ethereal plane and let you perceive and move through them, like, that isn't. I wouldn't call that a particularly powerful effect. It is cool, but it's still gated by your move speed. It's still gated by what environment you're currently in, and one round is a very, very, very short duration.
Yeah.
So while it is a genuinely cool tool, it's a genuinely unique tool, once per short rest, I really think just hamstrings this in a way it doesn't need to. Like, how much
Maybe.
better is this than just Misty Step, right? That's an easy question to ask.
Well, Misty Step requires you to be able to see the other side, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, in certain situations, it's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, I don't know how often those situations come up, right? Like, this is vertical movement, lets you go through floors, lets you go through walls, lets you get out of one place conveniently. It being a bonus action is nice. You can dash the same turn. I think you're often going to want to dash the same turn. So
I think this is fair. This feels like what it is. A set what?
One round is so few.
I understand, but it's a 7th level etherealness.
I think if you were to strip away etherealness, like the prestige that comes with the 7th level spell, and you were just to say, as a bonus action on this turn, you can fly and pass through objects. This doesn't seem that powerful, right?
I think it does. I'm not even, thinking about etherealness as being, because it's a 7th level spell. I just think just being able to fly and pass through objects. This feels once per short rest. I mean, yeah, I'd like it more, but it feels like a 7th level feature. 7th level isn't, top end.
I think it's cool. I think this deserves to be a little bit better. I think it's
What
weak.
what was that subclass we were talking about not too long ago where they got etherealness and I wasn't impressed with it and I was
The
supposed
undead warlock.
right. Yeah. Like I don't know why, but I feel better about it here.
I think it's this one you get to take your body and stuff with you, and before you had to be a floating naked specter. So there is a pretty much difference between those two things.
Okay.
11th level gives us distance strike, so at 11th level you get the ability to pass between the planes in a blink of an eye. When you use the attack action, you can teleport up to 10 feet before each attack to an unoccupied space you can see. That's really freaking cool. If you attack at least 2 different creatures with the action, you can make 1 additional attack against a third creature. That's also really cool.
Yeah, it encourages you to spread out your attacks.
You need reasons to do that, because it's not
Yes.
optimal. And this is a big payoff for doing so. This is an extra sharpshooter shot if you really wanted to. That's pretty sweet.
All right. Take me through the first part of this again.
Okay. When you use the attack action, before
Yeah.
you make the attack roll, you can teleport 10 feet.
Okay. Why is this useful?
Yeah?
Well, you seem really excited about it.
It's cool. I don't know if it's useful. I mean, powerful, it gives you a third attack. That is
Yes. Okay.
So here's what I'll say. The extra attack thing is where I think the power here is, as far as giving you some reason to attack multiple things. You still won't always want to do that, but you'll have some cool decision making. I like that. The extra teleport isn't usually going to be that relevant. It's not usually going to be that important. But what you can do is like teleport away from something scary to something less scary, or teleport away from something scary and shoot it as a free disengage as part of that attack, if you really want to, right? This plays really well conceptually in a skirmisher fantasy, while also having a payoff for doing the skirmisher fantasy. On top of that, it isn't just if you attack 2 things, you attack a third one. It gives you some kind of flavor attached to it. You are moving through portals. You are shifting around the plane in some kind of interesting way.
True.
This is what I wish Planar Warrior had more of, was a little bit of flavor. Even if it's not that impactful, it's still definitely really cool and could have some cute out-of-combat applications where you go, okay, I can see on the other side of that window, rogue, hold still, stab, or go to a stab and you're gone. That's cool, right? You go to shoot and you're gone.
All right, cool. Yeah.
I think it's neat. I like it. It also, when you take the attack action, I don't know the rules on this specifically. I would rule that if there's a 10-foot, like if there's a gap between you and your target, this lets you make up that distance. So like you go to take the attack action, you engage them.
So if I'm stabbing you and I'm 10 feet away, I'm using the teleport to get to you, right?
I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
I'm not positive. Consult the internet oracles. I would rule that's how it should work because it seems sweet to do that. Like
I'm using this ranged anyway, so it's not going to come up for me.
I love melee rangers, so I would definitely try and do this melee ranged. There's an option I will note between Ethereal Step and Planar Warrior and the other ranger stuff is going to be really tight on bonus actions, man. You have got a lot of bonus actions you want to consistently use. So how you juggle that is going to be an actual fun little question. We end on Spectral Defense, so 15th level, your ability to move between planes enables you to slip through the planar boundaries to lessen harm done to you during battle. When you take damage from an attack, you can use your reaction to give yourself resistance to all the attack's damage on this turn.
All right, that's kind of cool. I mean, any attack.
Yeah, this is a powerful defensive ability. It's boring as sin, but it's a powerful defensive ability.
All right, well, it felt like it was trying to paint a picture, but I'm not seeing it in my mind.
Yeah, I would love it to be like, as a reaction, you can have the damage and teleport to a space within 5 feet of yourself. That seems way cooler and actually makes sense as to like, yeah, you're using the portals to get out of danger. That seems cool. Then you have this orc that's like smashing and you're like ducking out of the way and you teleport backwards and it follows up with another. Like, there's a cool skirmisher play pattern that's fighting backwards look to that. This is just, for some reason, planes. I take half damage
through the planar boundaries. I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I don't think this nails the fantasy at all, but it is a fine upper tier defensive feature.
Yeah.
Resistance to 1 second round as a reaction is great. It gives you a consistent reaction you're happy to use. Why not? Especially as damage starts to get stack higher and higher, this pays off being a melee ranger skirmisher kind of character. It's way worse on ranged options, as usual, because they're not going to use it every round, and they want to use a reaction every round. You're not going to be leveraging your hit point pool as well as a melee ranger would, but it's still like a fine top-end feature to get.
Yeah.
I don't know. All things considered, I think this Conclave is middle of the road for the newly printed ones, which is a good place to be, honestly. The newly printed Ranger Conclaves are pretty awesome. Distance Strike is the big payoff for playing this option. I wish the Ethereal step gave you a little bit more, but I think we overall land in like a B territory. I don't love the Planar Warrior nor like Planar Warrior is a bit weak, and the third level features on a whole are a little bit weak. Spectral Defense is really bland, but there is some cool stuff here. There are reasons to play it. I could absolutely see playing a Horizon Walker, especially if I'm playing, again, Planescape or something to that effect.
Well, I will give it credit. I like how Planar Warrior will help your distance strike. You know, that's 2d8s.
As a bonus action, choose one creature you can shoot in 30 feet of you. So no,
right,
it doesn't interact with that at all, in fact. In fact, it's counterintuitive to doing that because you're not stacking damage on one target. You're like, that target I do better damage at, and then I do mediocre damage to the other two.
All right, never mind. That would have been cool.
It would have been really cool. I would have loved that a lot. That would be a really compelling feature instead of this kind of like, yeah, this is a boring once per round bonus DA damage. All right, sure.
Oh, that's a bummer. All right, what would have been cool. The first part when you're doing 1d8 damage, single target. Level 11.
Now it applies to all of them.
Yes.
That would be really cool.
2d8, yes.
That would be a neat, like, cohesive scaling structure. That'd be great.
Oh, that's not what we got though.
No, it's kind of trash otherwise. Well, that trash isn't fair. We've talked about genuine trash. It's just lackluster.
Yeah, I think B is fair. I'm not excited about this one. It's got a good extended spell list and some decent features, but I don't know. I guess personal opinion, I'm not a huge fan of the flavor.
I also don't think this differentiates stuff enough from Fey Wanderer. Fey Wanderer also gets Misty Step and other teleporty stuff and cool charm stuff. Like, I think Fey Wanderer is doing a lot of what this is, just in a more deeply flavorfully rich setting. I think this is the more generic of the two.
So much better. I mean, Fey Wanderer is nuts.
It's at least deeply interesting. This is not deeply interesting. This is, okay, you get a teleporty thing and you can attack 3 things, okay.
And you can detect portals. Yay.
Woo.
All right, that was Horizon Walker. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for joining us. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Let us know your opinions. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.